Well, we're back at it. It took us a couple of weeks off. A lot of stuff going around in San Diego that I had to attend to. Chris was very busy the last couple of weeks, but we're back on the high school football podcast right at the right time. Last week of the regular season, getting you ready for the postseason. It's going to be a great postseason run. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of weird things happening on Friday night. Just when you think you know all the seedings, something weird happens, and then it puts everything through a loop. He's Top Dog. I'm Braden Surprenant. Just last couple of weeks, a lot of Padres baseball incorporating our lives. Obviously, myself for work. You're a big Padres fan. We have to mention your Halloween decorations.
I knew that was
outstanding. After the Padres took down the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we do have some coaches that watch our thing that are Dodger fans, and
there's no greater feeling than beating the Los Angeles Dodgers.
It's great. Chris made a "Here Lies the Dodgers 2022 season" gravestone for his front yard. By the way, I thought, are you doing the fog every night in your front yard? But Halloween night, the fog's going to come out.
Oh, yeah,
that was nice. The special effects, the homemade tombstones.
So we have lightning now. My house looks like the Addams Family house.
Oh, that's awesome.
The entire second story is lit up with lightning now.
Does the family appreciate the Halloween?
They don't.
They don't as much as you do.
And the dogs, they hate it. The dogs, they hate the thunder and the lightning, and they're barking all night. So
it looks good though.
I don't get to do it every night. I get one holiday a year, and then she shuts everything down. No Christmas, no Easter, no nothing else.
You don't get to go all out for Christmas?
No. I wanted to build a gingerbread house, and she said absolutely not.
Is that a real gingerbread or a fake gingerbread? You know Disney does that?
Yeah.
In the Haunted Mansion, they got
I study a lot of my stuff directly from Disney. A lot of the styrofoam sculptures I make are strictly exactly how the Disney artists make their
for all their props and everything.
Props for Disneyland.
When you got the creativity that Chris does and the ability to make things, his Halloween decorations are top notch. That was great. It was awesome. I loved it. I got to give you some love on that because I know you put it on social media. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. We also want to talk about the sweet jersey you're wearing today as well.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to talk about. First and foremost, Deion Sanders is the greatest cornerback in football history, college and pro, in my opinion. If anybody hasn't seen the 60 Minutes interview with Deion, please go check it out. Deion is revolutionizing college football, and especially there for Jackson State University. And he also talks about some of the challenges he had physically last year. A lot of people don't know, but Deion had 2 toes actually amputated last year. And he was fighting blood clots, and he was in a coma. And so this isn't, that doesn't make the same headlines as, the Jackson State. But if you watch him on the football field during games, you can see him limping now.
Right.
And, you go back and look at, primetime Neon Deion, you think about that ball player in the first half of his life. And now he's got the call to, go down there and help out, predominantly Black universities and HBCUs for football. And he's brought in some incredible national sponsors. We're talking like United Airlines, Comcast, Pepsi. Like there's money pouring into HBCUs that is incredible right now, strictly because then there's a difference between a star and a superstar. And when Deion walks into a room, he commands the attention of CEOs, CFOs all over the country. And so there's a lot of support being generated for historically Black college universities. And I mean, we've got players that are head there now, like, Lincoln's Herman Smith plays for Jackson State and Deion. He talks about when he got there that the city couldn't even provide clean water for the football team or the city. And the change that he's made in the community, the locker room, the facilities, the track facilities, we all like to think we make an impact on our communities and our kids. But when you watch Deion's story on 60 Minutes, it's incredible because he not only did it with the football program in every athletic department there, but it's transitioned into new buildings for the campus and new educational opportunities for kids.
Well, and the big difference too is you could be the guy that just writes the check and just, whatever, but he's in the trenches. He's doing this thing. He's leading by example. And that's the best part. I mean, you can go and say everything you'd like to see about the HBCUs and stuff like that, but he's going out there and doing it himself. He's giving up the TV, doing games on TV, being an NFL analyst, which I'm sure is a lot better of a deal.
He was making close to $7 million a year doing that.
on top of all the money he already made, and his kids going through and high school and getting to the college level, and he's taking the time to go help out
at Jackson State. That's his son,
right?
And so he gets to coach his kid as well, but he coaches defense, not offense, so he doesn't really coach his son,
right?
But Deion, he walked away from a $7 million TV contract, and his salary at Jackson State is $500,000.
When he has to do the recruiting, and there's so much more to being a college coach than I think a lot of people think. Not anybody that listens to our podcast, because most of our guys are coaches and people involved with football, but there's a lot of people like fans are like, oh yeah, they just show up and maybe they do some prep. I mean, that is a nonstop 24-hour thing, 7 days a week, all year round. And he hasn't been the guy that's like, I'm just going to show up and see what it is. He's putting the time in during the off season, and it's a lot harder to do that than just, I don't want to downgrade anybody in my industry because it works hard too, but there's a difference between being an everyday head coach and then being the TV gig. And that's why a lot of people and a lot of coaches, jump to TV and go, I'm good. I don't need to coach anymore.
Well, I mean, there's a grind, obviously, one of the questions that they asked him was, what's it cost you to be the coach at Jackson State? And he said, sleep.
Yeah. Probably it costs him money too. It costs him $7 million a year.
So, I mean, I just, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I'll send you the link. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can put that in the links below.
Right.
Below down there. Look down there. The link will be down there at the bottom. Brayden will put that in. Great football story. But, if you go back and you look at how much Deion was hated in his playing career, and to think now he's changed and he's on the coaching side of things, it's just to see the evolution of Deion Sanders and what he's doing in our community today is nothing less than remarkable.
And that's a good talking point. I'm glad you busted out the jersey. Looks great. I like that jersey.
This is old school right here.
It is old school.
That's old school red. That's the 1989 Mitchell and Ness authentic Deion Sanders when he played for the Falcons, and I believe he played for the Atlanta Braves at that time. The only guy, did you know Deion's the only guy in professional sports history to hit a home run and score a touchdown in the same day?
And of course, he was going through the playoffs with Atlanta too, and playing in a football game and getting over to it helped Atlanta out that he got to play in both. He got to play in both, or at least in the same town. If you're the Braves or the Falcons, I think you're fine with that. Signing up. Oh yeah, we'll just
he started his career with the Yankees, and guess who turned out to take his job?
Oh,
Bernie Williams.
Bernie Williams
took his job in New York. So, Bernie's in the Hall, right? Is Bernie in the Hall? If not, he probably.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure
Bernie's one of the best center fielders of all time. So,
but I mean, the thing with Deion, and the thing people understand, like it's just a totally different skill. Baseball is compared to everything, and the hand-eye, and then to play it at a major league level, is just and be successful, at any level. In baseball, I mean, just hitting like $150, even if he just hit $150, it'd just really impressive.
Ask Trent Grisham how that works out.
Right?
I mean, you bet what $1. He was the lowest average in Major League Baseball in the regular season this year.
He was. No, Austin Hedges played baseball this year. There's no way he was lower. But
I was pretty sure he was in like the bottom.
He was. It was
I saw some stat
definitely very low for his average.
$180, like below the Mendoza line.
Went enough of a tear right there in the postseason, but
it's
not the Padres.
First series.
First series.
Listen, I gotta get this out of my system because you and I haven't talked Padres since all this happened.
Why didn't you call in today? I had the show all 4 hours a day.
Really? I know. Well, I got the last hour. I listened to you the last hour. And by the way, if you guys haven't listened to him, John was out
last 2 days. So he's out sick on the IL.
My guy was running solo, and I got to tell you, I feel like I was listening like CBS Network because this dude was on point. He had his stats right. He had great arguments. He was extremely articulate. Like,
I appreciate that.
Look at this kid. I'm like, dude, you're actually really a baseball guy. Super
baseball,
proud of you.
Football. I try to do it all. All right. I think we've done enough of pumping each other up today.
Look, it's been 2 weeks. We ain't seen each other in a while. All right.
Right. Haven't been able to talk Padres. What did you want to throw in there, Padres? You got to get it off your chest.
Bryce Harper's the best player in baseball.
He's good, man.
I mean, listen, that 8th inning, I don't know if I post Suarez. Some of Melvin's questions in that 8th inning about
I've been talking about it for the last, 8 hours.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, I haven't. So I'm just saying, like, I question that. The other thing that I got into an argument with my dad in the middle of, like, I think it was game 3.
Passion, baby.
And I told him, I said, the reality is right now that Bob Melvin is getting out coached.
I thought he got out coached a little bit.
And my dad just went ballistic and was like, well, he's not out there making those guys throw those pitches.
Oh, right.
I said, yeah, but you put these guys in situations and it's your decision, and I felt like you should have went with the hot hand. I think he should have went to Suarez in game 3 and not game 4. I think there was a position in game 3 where it was closer and you brought in
game 4 instead of game 5. Game 3. Game 3 was the Friday game where they lost.
Oh, what was the Sunday game? Game 4?
The Saturday game? Saturday game.
That Saturday game, I thought he should have brought in Suarez instead of Wilson. So
or not have Minaya go 2 innings.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Minaya go 2 innings, right? And then they had, we talked about
I just felt like the steam came out of the organization, and you felt like the bullpen was a strength. The back end of the bullpen was a strength throughout the playoffs, and it felt like Melvin took that away.
There's 3, I think, catastrophic mistakes in that series. One was going an extra inning of Minaya instead of going, hey, look, I got Garcia, Suarez, and Hader all on full rest to cover 12 outs.
Oh,
right. I would go with one. So that was a mistake. The other mistake was you absolutely, and he defended his decision again today in the press conference. I mean, you know what? That's the way he went with, and he's backing it. Fine. So be it. I could see both ways. But to me, you brought Josh Hader in as a lefty closer for those situations. And I want to see.
And you didn't use him. And you didn't put your best guy out there.
And once JT Realmuto got the knock, pull in Hader, and see what you got. And, today it's funny, Gwen and Chris talked about it after. Well, just because you put in Hader didn't mean he was going to be out. But my counter to that is, but at least you went down swinging with your best.
And
guy. There's no what ifs.
I'm not leaving my best guy on the
pitch. I mean, he didn't pitch all weekend.
Right. What are we doing? Like, if you're really trying to win this thing, you went out and acquired this guy. Listen, I'll say this. AJ Preller did a hell of a job putting this team together.
Right.
I heard you at the end, were they going to do with Josh Bell? I don't know. I agree 1,000,000% with you.
You got to bring him back. He's a good baseball guy.
Preller kind of left it out there in his press conference that he's not 100% sure if he's bringing him back. He wants to go after Soto for sure.
Right.
But Bell's in free agency market. I 100% agree. He's a clubhouse guy. If there's anybody you want to dump, you know who I'm going to say, right?
Right.
The oldest, most veteran player that we have.
Yeah, there's no reason to bring him back unless it's
Will. Your time is past. It's time to go. What he's due, like $20 million next year?
Well, if they pick up the club option, it's $20 million. They're not going to do that anyway. I mean, he could have had a Fernando year. They weren't going to do that. They're going to pay him $1 million to go away, and then they could probably renegotiate if they wanted to bring him back. It's something small, but I doubt it. I'd love to have Josh Bell back. He's got the track record.
And then the last question, listen. I'm sorry, dude, but you did it to yourself. Shortstop's gone. Ha-Seong Kim is our shortstop of the future, and you're going to have to find a spot.
And I mentioned that on the show today. He lost his
job.
I don't want to say rights, but he lost his.
He
lost his luxury to say, I'm Fernando, you got to put me at shortstop, because now it's like, dude, you got to earn your way back. And right now, and AJ Preller said we're going to do what's best for the team, best for the players, kind of deal.
I heard that too. Yep.
You might have to learn how to play center field, because that knocks away. Well,
first of all, he's not going to throw it out there right now. I mean, he's not going to say it this early without talking to him, see what his health is like.
You don't know what he can do yet.
The bottom,
he's got a screw in his wrist.
The bottom line for me is, like, to your point, I mean, that suspension was selfish. Straight out.
That was like the 4th selfish thing he did in 2022.
So I'm like, listen, we've had enough, dude. You're either going to grow up and man up and lead this club, which Manny did, and you didn't.
Right.
And so at this point,
100%.
Another guy comes in, and, he's not a superstar, but listen, Ha-Seong Kim got the job done.
Well, he's going to win a Gold Glove. And if he doesn't, he's a finalist for a Gold Glove.
I mean,
and you can't
just take that away.
Especially since Fernando wasn't like the best
defensive
shortstop, and you can live with Kim batting 9th, and as long as I have,
and he contributes,
as long as I have Tatis in the lineup for his bat, I'm going to put him somewhere else in center field, and outfield is where you have a hole right now.
He ain't going to right.
No, you got Soto there. You're paying too much money for him.
So, all right, let's get back to football.
But that was our Padres podcast and our high school football podcast. I've talked to Chris in a long time. It's been a long time. Went up to LA for 2 of those games.
Dude. You saw Tennessee, Alabama.
I was at the Tennessee, Alabama game. Talk about big boy football. Tennessee and Alabama are 2 of the biggest lines I've ever seen in my life. And Tennessee handled Alabama's line the entire time. Hendon Hooker is legit. He's fearless in the pocket. There was a couple times he stood up there. They got a Bama guy coming right at him unblocked. Calmly steps up, makes his throw, takes the hit, lays it in there. The weapons Tennessee has are insane. Their offense is really good. Their defense,
That's so good.
no, they never recovered a back out of the backfield once, and Alabama's got backs galore. I forget their starting running back's name, but he's a stud anyway. You should probably cover him. They never covered a back out of the backfield. They had 0 pass rush on Bryce Young. And just to give the synopsis of the California kid out there from modern day playing for Alabama, he's the reason Alabama is still in the top 10 because he is single-handedly their offense.
That good right now.
I don't want to make comparisons, but my best way of comparing is like modern day Chula Vista. Nankill creates a lot of time by being able to move all over the place and is hard to bring down, which creates opportunities for his receivers to get open. That's the exact same thing as Bryce Young. You can't get him on the ground. You can barely contain him. And he stays patient running around, and he doesn't run until he's got somebody to throw to. And we're talking about Alabama. I mean, they got receivers that are legit. They got players that are legit. Right. You give them 4 seconds to get open instead of 3, they're going to get open all day long. And that's a lot. That comes from Bryce Young. So I saw 2, I think, of the best quarterbacks coming out of college in the country, duel it out on that game. But the atmosphere was amazing. Yeah. Them winning, obviously, haven't beat them in 16 years. That downtown Knoxville and the Strip were just losing their mind. Yeah. I watched the field goals lead, but it was just, that's the passion and tradition. Yep. And that's, I don't know if we've said on this podcast, but
we don't really have that here in on the West Coast.
Not really.
I mean, listen, the only thing I can compare that to is in the mid 90s when you had SC Notre Dame games. That's the only thing I can.
When SC's in their heyday, you can kind of get the college vibe, but they're starting to come back. But like in the Pete Carroll days,
yes,
like SC
that's
football,
what I mean. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But,
and when they're playing Notre Dame,
right, or they're playing some
UCLA.
big time dog, and they're the team year. I mean, Autzen Stadium gets loud, but it's not. I haven't been up there for a game, so I can't really judge. But my time at Arizona, I'd see the Pac-12 roll through there. It's not the same. But anyway, what I was going to say was, college football is the closest thing the United States has to European soccer. Pageantry, pride, town
the bands, you got the mascots, you've got
the rowdiness of the fans, the pageantry.
You've got, I mean, it's like an Ohio State,
100,000 people,
and that team up north.
Right, those 2 games. Yep.
Army, Navy,
anybody in the SEC, the big schools in the Big 12. I mean, that's the closest thing you're going to get. Those stadiums are way bigger for.
It's bigger than NFL.
It is.
It's way more loyal than
NFL's corporate football.
Yeah, it is.
Guys in suits and whatever, but like college football is still to this point, and it's starting to and hopefully it doesn't trend completely towards corporate, but it's still you could bring your family to the game for the most part. Most of the college games I go to.
Listen. I'm not taking my boys to a Georgia game. I'm not taking my boys to some of these games. Listen, I've been to some of the college games, and they're not family friendly. I gotta say that it's a college crowd. So
yeah, but the college crowds are more. They're not like, the difference is the NFL fans go to NFL games
to get wasted,
are wasted and itching for a fight.
Only Raider games.
Nah, Charger fans are like that. I was like that. When I went to a Cowboys game, it was like that. I mean, it's just everybody. That's just their biggest deal, whatever, of the week. Let's get loaded. Let's just go nuts, and people lose their mind. Colleges, there are sections and areas where it is like that, but for the majority of the stands, it's alumni and students. And students are only really picking a fight with themselves. They're not really going after kids or anything like that, or talking smack to kids. And there's other sections throughout the stadium at every college game I've been to where it's like families that have been sitting there for generations. Yeah. That grew up in those seats. The people next to them are in their seats. Yeah. Now, if you got an opposing fan in there, it's obnoxious. That got to see it on StubHub. Sure, I'm sure it'll escalate. But for the most part, and at least in all the environments I've been to, as a member, as an away team, as a home team working in college football, it's compared to the NFL, it's more family friendly.
Here's my take on that. And this is a personal experience, and then we can move on. I went to a San Diego State game against I want to say it was
Aztec fans are kind of nuts.
No, it wasn't. Where's Ezekiel Noah play? Boise State.
Boise, yeah.
So we're at Aztec game.
Are you at Boise or
no? It's here. It's at Qualcomm at the time, and Ron Berner's LCAP boys are sitting behind us, and I've got my son and my 2 guys, and It's the first time in my life I've ever been to any sporting event in the world where the white guy behind me called me the N-bomb.
Oh my God.
And he was inebriated. He was drunk. I didn't take a swing at him. But, I politely stood up and said, hey, bro, I got my 2 African-American kids right here, and I need you to stop dropping N-bombs and this, that, and the other. And he called me an N-bomb right in front of my kids. And Applewhite was there when he was coaching at this was, I want to say 2017 at Qualcomm.
I was going to say, it was at Qualcomm. It's definitely
it was rough. That's why I said, for me, like, I've been to some college games where things get a little, these college kids don't know how to handle their liquor and they get a little mouthy. So that's all I'm saying.
That's
like,
a West
personal.
That's a West Coast game.
It probably could be. I mean,
I've been to
agree.
San Diego State games where I'm just like, dude, you guys are just nuts.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you on. I honestly,
I don't know if that's exactly family friendly. Now I'm hoping Snapdragon Stadium. I haven't had a chance to be there yet, but I'm hoping Snapdragon
is more
a little better.
It's more corporate,
and I hope so. I hope they
but
clean
I'm
up.
gonna say something right now about San Diego State fans are out of control. They just are. I mean, that's like my experience going to games in other parts of the country where people are nicer, like Midwest. I mean, if you said that happened like an Ohio State game, I'd be shocked.
Well,
but the fact you said a San Diego State game, I'm not overly surprised.
Lincoln Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska is one of the greatest environments I've ever been in college football.
Right.
I was there for a Huskers game against Ohio State when Chris Olave was at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And when the lights shut off and everybody broke out their cell phones and had the red app, and all you see is a sea of red.
Oh, it's insane.
And it's like 90,000 people, and they've sold out for like 30 years.
Right.
It's insane. So I agree with you that it's a
where
more
football
fan-friendly environment when big-time football is important to the college.
It's family-friendly environments in places where football matters.
I agree. Now that I agree with.
Where football matters, and you know how to, it's people that go to the games are there for the game and the respect level,
and the pageantry.
Right. I mean, like we played Iowa State one year and they were the nicest fans I've ever met in my life. Yeah. They're like, don't beat us too.
Well, even the Holiday Bowl is usually pretty good.
Yeah, you're good. You got good, passionate fan bases,
and they're all
especially
imports.
bowl games.
Right.
But you go to some West Coast games, and especially, I mean, how many people are at that game?
It's about half full.
Yeah. I mean,
some of those are giveaway tickets.
Right. So it's in San Diego State, bless their heart. I mean, it's just not it's just not, it's different. Like you said, you've been to an Aztec game. It's just that you don't get the same pageantry.
Speaking of Aztecs, did you see who's back on the sidelines for the Aztecs?
Lindley.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
So I was watching the game after they fired the OC. And what's his name took back over, and I'm watching the game and I see
Horton?
this. Yeah, I see Horton and I see this guy with his goatee.
Yeah, who's that guy?
And I'm like, wait a minute, is that? And I'm watching this with family. So I'm yelling at my TV. I'm like, dude, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Ryan Lindley.
That's Ryan Lindley. And so like I called him like after like a day or two later. I was like, bro, are you back at San Diego State? And he's like, yeah, they brought me back after, they let the OC go, and I'm working, and he's working with Jordan, the quarterback that's over there. He's working with Burmeister. I had a chance to talk to him, and I mean, he's one of us. He's one of our San Diego guys.
Right.
And I don't know how many people remember Ryan Lindley when he was at El Cap or he was at San Diego State, but Ryan Lindley is a true like football guy.
Right.
And, he was with the Cleveland Browns for a while, doing some OC stuff with them. I'm just happy to have him back in San Diego. I think he's a great resource for our community.
He's going to help them out with recruiting. Nobody's going to be able to sell San Diego State better than a guy that's been there and played there before.
He played quarterback for Arizona Cardinals.
Right. Well, he's been in the NFL, but he knows San Diego State, and they need to up their recruiting, and they really. I mean, I'm curious to see what they do with that staff at the end of the year, because they need to. The blue lights went to white, but anyway, because they got the new stadium now, and
Horton says he doesn't want to be the OC beyond this year. So
they got to find somebody, and that's assuming that Brady Hope stays. I mean, there's a lot of issues going on with San Diego State, but hopefully they can figure those out because they got this brand new venue and they got a lot of great kids here in San Diego that I'd love to see play for San Diego State. Now let's transition to high school football.
Let's do it.
We've spent 38 minutes already talking about
38 minutes?
about the Padres and
college football,
but you know what? We had to catch up on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
One cool thing, by the way, that the Dodgers do. You're talking about fan experiences.
There's nothing cool the Dodgers do.
They have fan cam where you scan a QR code on the video board and then a camera pops up on your phone. And then all your cameras that scan it are now accessed by the technical director, and he pumps your phone up there so you can like video yourself on the video board. Does that make sense?
Creepy, bro.
It's sick.
That's creepy, bro.
You get to control your own thing, and those folks,
bro, that's creepy.
How is that creepy?
I'm not doing it.
If you did it,
I'm not doing it.
If you did it,
I'm not doing it.
If you came up with that day, you'd think it'd be the greatest thing ever.
No, can't agree.
If Ohio State
Padres,
did it, if Ohio State did it, you'd think it'd be great.
Ohio State, please don't do that.
Ohio State did it, you'd think it'd be great.
Padres, Eric Gutner, please don't do that.
All right, moving on to high school football.
Ray Chan, director of IT for the Padres, please don't do that.
I don't think I turned in my top 10 vote this week, by the way. I don't remember doing that.
I got my top 10. You want to hear my top 10?
Well, I have my top 10. I don't think it counted this week because I forgot to put it in. But my top 10, I got Lincoln 1, I got Madison 2.
Nope.
I got Carlsbad 3.
I got those two flipped.
I got.
You got 4.
Cathedral 4, Poway 5, Helix 6, Mission Hill 7, Granite 8. I like that. Modern Day 9, El Camino 10.
A couple of changes. I put Modern Day at 10, El Camino at 9. I've got Poway making the open divisional last team. I've got Cathedral Helix going to D1. So I think I if I'm correct, and I don't know, you'll probably tell me, you're a stat guy. Poway is going to make their way into the open.
You're incorrect.
Really?
Mission Hills is going to be in the open.
Really?
It's dumb. I think the CIF ratings are stupid. I think it's idiotic, and I think it's.
How does Poway get bounced?
Poway got bounced because they got passed because Mission Hills beat El Camino last week. Also, the other reason why Mission Hills is ahead is CIF is giving all of their non-league opponents credit as D1 opponents, even though they're probably not. So beating Lawndale and beating Chaparral and beating.
Can I say something? I don't know if this is going to be cool or not, but I think if Mission Hills gets in the open, it's going to be one and done.
I think if Poway makes the open, I think it's one and done.
I don't think either one of them get past first round.
I agree with you.
Okay, cool.
I don't think.
Who would they play? Who gets the 1 seed, you think? Lincoln?
Carlsbad will get the 1 no matter what.
No matter what? Okay.
Well, no. Yes, they would.
What about Lincoln?
Here's the deal. Like Chris,
Madison,
we gotta clarify something. My top 10 and your top 10 have nothing to do with the postseason. Neither does anybody's top 10. It's just the CIF ranking system. So, if I had to pick 4 teams to go to the open, I would probably pick the 3 Western League teams. I pick Carlsbad. I think Poway would be a close.
Wait, so who's the Western League team that's going to get knocked out?
Both Western League teams are in.
2.
Lincoln and Madison are in.
They're in. Okay.
100%.
All right. So
they're locked in.
That.
Carlsbad's in.
Okay.
Okay. The only one is whether or not it's either Mission Hills, Poway, and then Cathedral's got a slim chance.
Okay. So wait, if Mission Hills loses this weekend, are they out?
Yes.
Who they play?
They play San Marcos.
So if they tank the Discovery Bowl.
So if they lose the Discovery Bowl, they're out.
So theoretically, Jason Taxler, who's back at San Marcos,
right, could
ruin Hauser's season again.
They could.
Oh boy.
Unless Mission Hills would rather be in D1.
And do you think that? Well, let me ask you this: Would you tank that game if you're a coach?
What do you mean? Would I tank that game? Absolutely not. I would rather lose in the open division by 50 freaking points than win D1.
You think every coach in the county feels that way?
No, absolutely not. In fact, I think a slim amount of coaches in the county think that.
Oh, interesting.
I really do.
Any names you want to drop?
I think the majority.
Listen.
I'm not dropping names, but I'm going to tell you right now, the way everything is factored in the CIF rankings, because remember, these guys voted for this. Remember that. They voted for this. Okay. Despite my DMs of everybody saying, Chris, Braden, I hate these ratings. Yeah, I didn't vote for this. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. If everybody that DM'd me didn't vote for it,
then we wouldn't have this. Thank you.
Coach Caruso over at Lincoln. All the time.
Brian Caruso. You're going to get lit up for this one. Go ahead.
No, I'm on his side. He said it perfectly. Coaches have no idea. They have no understanding of what the rating system was beforehand, and they voted for this. And they still don't understand the rating system as it is right now. And guess what? They don't have to know. You don't have to know what's in the cake. As long as the cake tastes good, it doesn't matter. If the cake tastes bad.
Wait, have you been watching a new Netflix series? Is this cake?
No. Is that a series?
It's a series. Check it out. It's funny. It's hilarious. It's
stupid.
The host is bad. Listen.
Is it as dumb as the CIF rankings? hold on. Let me.
Bad.
Is
this cake?
CIF. Well, here, let's put it this way. I think the calpreps rating system is the way you got to do it. Everybody in California is using it. Most states use it. That's what you were using before. And if that was the case, it would be, if the season ended today, it would be Carlsbad, Lincoln, Madison, Poway. Your first team out would be Cathedral and Helix, followed by Mission Hills, Granite Hills, El Camino.
I think that's legit.
That's how it's always been.
I think that is a legit, real.
Yes.
Like that should be what it is.
Too many coaches in the lower divisions complained about it because you want to know why? Because calpreps had the thing where it's like, it was based on, remember we were doing the spreads all the time. It was whether or not you could cover and beat it within more of the spread. And so a lot of coaches were like, we're tired of getting, let's not encourage teams to run up the score, which I kind of agree with. But what did Ned Freeman do?
You put a cap on it.
Capped it.
Yeah.
He capped it. He's like, fine, we'll cap it because his formula is designed for, it's designed for knowing the spread for gambling. That's what it is for other
professional sports,
for professional and other sports. And then he was big high school
money
fan.
on it, by the way.
Big high school fans, put it to high school and see how everybody compares. By the way, it also has everybody included nationally. Every team in the country is in that system. So you don't have to sit here and play the game because this is what they're going to do. Chris, listen to this. Listen to the lunacy that's going to be CIF with this decision making at the end of the year. They are going to, by the way, right now, it's not legit, the CIF rankings in terms of the rating system for the out-of-town teams. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, it's not set in stone. So there's a lot of D1 schools or schools getting credit for D1 opponents that are not D1 opponents. They're going to go team by team and evaluate each out-of-town team and go, if they played in San Diego, how well would they do?
Wait a minute. Who's doing that?
CIF's going to do that.
Who is CIF?
That's what they told the coaches. I don't know, whoever's in charge of the rating system. It might be a collective effort.
Your commissioner?
It's not going to be Joe Hines, but it's going to be a collective effort. So
come on, bro. That can't just be an abstract.
That's what I'm saying.
You're telling me that, dude, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
And who gets to decide that? Oh, if they played in San Diego. Don't tell me it's going to
be.
So
I heard they're going to do that.
Listen,
before you get upset, let me just lay out the three potential scenarios because they're all dumb. I heard they were potentially doing that. I heard that they, before the season, evaluated every out-of-town team that was going to be played in San Diego and did the whole rating system based on division on the whole power rating system, 50% of last year, 30% of the year before, 20% of the year before that. And then that was the other way that they said they were going to do it. And then the last one was they've already set it in stone. They've determined that all these schools would be D1 schools.
Can I ask you, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to ask a question. If you know the answer, let me know.
All right.
Are they going to allow the championship directors to do this?
I have no idea.
I want to read the names on that list just in case.
Okay.
You got Gary Chapman, Mike Dolan, John Shacklet, Ed Burke, Donnie Van Hook, Bruce Ward, Ralph Moore, Ed Davis, Bernard Bellani, Rick Ashby, Rex Johnson, Jim Arnaz, and Trish Dolan. Here's my question. Do you feel anybody on that list right there has any clue about what's going on in high school football today?
No.
Are they relevant?
No.
So,
some of them have CIF votes. I
guess my question is, who got picked to be put on this panel to evaluate whether or not these teams out of town are any good?
I don't think it matters. Why are we even doing this? This is dumb.
I want to know who's on that panel.
I want to know.
Because I'll be honest, if somebody like me or you ain't on that panel, I think it's whack.
Here's my other thing. I want to know what coaches voted for this current system. Because it doesn't make it that.
I don't think they were told that. I can't imagine some coach being told that.
I don't know. You had something great and it wasn't wrong, and people are upset. Well, all the favorites are winning. Well, yeah, that means they got the thing right. If I seeded the 1 seed and they lost the 4, I screwed up the seedings. You're most likely the 1 seed is expected to win.
Right.
The 2 is expected to come in. Guess second what, place. Chris? Second place.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So I can spend about 4 hours talking about how dumb the rating system are. And by the way, a lot of coaches agree with me. And I'm not even convinced that There might be some coaches, by the way, that didn't know what they were voting for and are now sitting there going, I can't believe we're doing this. So I want to bring it up because I want everybody to know.
I'm sure there are coaches that voted for this that had no idea.
I guarantee
that this was going to happen.
What I was told, rumor has it, they're going to reevaluate during the offseason. I'm going to tell you right now, if you listen to the show, vote for the calpreps thing.
Please do.
Right now.
Yes.
Because that makes sense. Because
that makes sense. Absolutely.
Beating Servite should not count as the same as beating Steel Canyon. No. I don't care how bad Servite is. No. That is dumb. Helix is getting the same amount of points for beating Servite as they do for beating Steel Canyon.
It doesn't make sense.
No sense at all. Playing De La Salle.
Listen, you need to reward teams. You have to reward teams.
We don't do that
big
here.
Wins.
We do not reward teams.
Do we hand out participation trophies?
We do.
Oh my God.
The way everything's set up with divisions.
You wonder why
the elimination.
Listen,
I'm going to go on a diatribe right now.
Okay.
The elimination of 8 teams from the Open, the whole, we want to win championships at lower levels. No, we got to stop it. We got to stop it right now. Stop it. Like I said, I would rather be in the Open and be one of the final 4. I wish it was still 8 and go, I'm one of the top 4 teams in the county, then go and win D2 and think I'm badass, because I'm not. That's the thing. And here's the other thing. It drives me off the wall every year. If you win D4, you're not in the same level as D1 champion. You're not. At the end of the year, when it's the top 10 and you won D4, and I'm not saying the last year's D4 team did this, I'm using it as an example, and I see them bitch and moan about we should be in the top 10, you shouldn't.
Right. You're the 40th best team at best.
If you win D1, you're the 5th best team.
Yes.
You're playing for 5th place.
5th place, yes. I agree with
If you win D2,
you're 25th
You're
place.
playing for 21st place.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Right.
You win D3, do the math. That's the place you're playing for.
Yep.
So go ahead. I mean, because when you put it in and when they got rid of the enrollment, it gave opportunities for schools that hardly ever be able to compete for a CIF championship, the ability to compete for a CIF championship, which I loved. And now it's, we could beat Carlsbad. It's like, no, whoa. No, you can't. The team that won D2 in college football last year is not sitting there going like, I think we compete with Alabama. No, that happens all the time. I see it all the time. State, you know what? It's just too bad we won D4. We could have gave Cathedral a run for their money. Absolutely not. This year, I'm not saying any of the teams are going to do it. But if you win D4, I didn't want to hear anybody say they can beat Madison, Lincoln, or Carlsbad. I don't want to hear it. So it's this mindset that, we want to try to win a CIF championship and win D1 instead of just going to be the best. You go to Orange County, they've even opened up the idea, hey, anybody, like, we can move it around. Those teams are like, no, I want the best. Centennial's like, don't put me in a lower bracket to win a state championship. We want the top dog. We want the top spot. Because they're not going to puff their chest out thinking, we're just as good as De La
I
Salle.
call myself a top dog for a reason, not the average dog. Right?
That's right. So and here's the other thing too.
And to be the best, you got to beat the best.
But let's take Cathedral for example. Last year they won D1, right? In state, they won D1 in state. They weren't sitting there popping off, going, I think we can get Bosco. They weren't saying that. We knew better.
Know. Listen, the dudes on our team knew better.
That's right. They know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of teams that just don't know that. It's like,
listen, I don't want to argue that point. I know you're absolutely right. I mean, I hear the argument.
We agree.
Listen, I get the DMs. Listen, I actually heard a mother. I won't say no names because that's even worse.
Yeah, don't be saying mom's name.
When I was working.
We're talking about my mama.
What'd you say about my mama?
Is that right?
What'd you say about my mama?
100%. My mom can whip your ass, by the way.
Your mom's pretty tough, dude. She's a tough cookie. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if I want to go come around with your mama.
No, definitely not.
I know who runs the roost over there.
That's right.
Mrs. Surprenant, I respect you and all that, but Mama Surprenant, she got something going on.
That's right.
There. Anyway,
100%.
I had a mom tell me I was working in KUSI.
Right.
And Mikey McKinnon, M3, love my guy. That's my dude.
Right.
M3 says, okay, Chris, give me your top 10. So I put it out, and immediately, a couple minutes later, somebody's in my DMs talking about Bonita Vista is a top 10 team.
No disrespect to Bonita.
Bro, I had to reply and be like, LOL. Because at no point in history of football in San Diego County, no matter, even when they won a D3 or D4 championship with Greg Bell, They've never been a top 10 team in football. Ever.
I have one exception in rating certain teams in a division one spot or higher than some teams in the division above them. And that's the case like Granite this year. They were in D1 last year. They had a bad year. They got bumped down to D2. I think they're good enough to be in D1. So like in my top, we have them in our top 10. So by the logic that we've given, we can't say like, oh, you're playing for 21st place in D2.
There are some exceptions.
I think, teams like Granite, sometimes every once in a while,
What about Point Loma?
Point Loma, I mean, they're like a D2 team to me.
Okay. They're just probably one of the better D2 teams.
They're one better, they're probably a better. Do you think
they
D2
could knock off one of those teams in the top 10?
Absolutely not.
No.
They
can't beat Mira Mesa?
No.
Yeah, I think that's a close game. Closer than people think.
But I don't have Mira Mesa in my top 10.
Oh. I think Mira Mesa is right there on the edge of top 10.
Does Point Loma beat Mater Dei? No. Does Point Loma beat El Camino? No. Did they beat Granite? No. They ain't beating Mission Hills. They ain't beating Helix. They're not beating Cathedral. I mean,
point taken.
Right. I mean, like, but they're the top 3. They're the top D3.
But every once in a while, I'll say this. You do get a Cinderella season.
Right. There is
a D1 team that gets a Cinderella season or a D2 team that gets a Cinderella season that they might have the chance to knock off somebody.
I didn't tell you, did I?
What?
I didn't tell you this, did I?
No.
Oh, that's great. I told my boy, Roland Veal over at Helix. I got a great idea. Astronomical, awesome, best idea. In fact, it would be such a great idea for high school football in San Diego that they couldn't even do it. They couldn't even pull it off. It is such a great idea.
I'm going to say this.
And by the way,
hold on. In my different strokes, Arnold voice. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
What you talking about, Willis?
It's a phenomenal idea. I'd like to hear coach's input on this idea.
What you talking about?
And I will start it off with saying it will never, ever, ever happen because of administrations.
What you talking about, Willis?
Phenomenal idea. You're going to like it.
I don't know if
you're going to like it.
I don't know if I will.
I think, because I do think we have this kind of stride for, let me win a championship lower instead of compete for a championship higher kind of attitude. And we do have a problem with not having teams be able to play other teams in San Diego. We saw that this year. A lot of teams traveling. Lincoln had 2 plane trips. I think before the season starts, San Diego should be like, they should get the best 8 teams and put them in the same league. Hold on. Send out invitations to those that are interested. The Cathedrals, the Madisons, Lincoln, Carlsbad. El Camino's got a great team that year. Maybe they'll opt into it. Saints, if they got a good year. Mater Dei last year had a really good team. Maybe they opt into it. Okay, you get the 8 best teams that are willingly and want to be in this league. You play 7 league games. You play 3 non-league games. Everybody in that league guaranteed a playoff spot. Everybody in that league is guaranteed to be in the open or get the top 2 seeds in D1. So that is your reward if you go into the big time league and you can't hang and it didn't work out, the Super League, whatever.
What do we call it?
What
do we call a league?
Well, you can think of the name while I'm re-adding some more of the stuff here. So you take the top 6 teams. Top 6 teams make the open.
Yep. The other 2 get the top seeds in D1.
Get the D1. So like if you're hey, we think we got a shot. We're gonna go for it. You go 0-7 in league. Go win a CIF championship in D1.
I think it's a good idea.
I think that would be great.
I do too.
You get the mixed leagues. How many times?
And you give them a choice. Look, this isn't mandatory.
We're inviting you. It's the invite league.
It's the invite league.
You want in or out?
Yep. And you can't get to the opening state without being in that invite league.
Right. This is your chance right here.
I'm good for that.
You're in or out.
Hey, let's do it.
I think it'd be great.
Let's go to CIF.
If you got, let's just
Joe Hines, are you listening to this?
Here's the problem.
Let's do something original.
School districts don't like that. Admins don't like that.
Why?
Schools, it's just semantics and a bunch of other stuff. There's a lot of tape you have to cut through on that. But I'm just saying now.
Let's cut the tape.
But could you imagine? I think not only would that league be awesome, you would eliminate a lot of blowouts.
Yep.
Right. I mean, how many league games you get now are just blowouts?
Dude, let's call it what it is. Jackson, what's his name? The kid over at Scripps, the quarterback gets hurt.
Jax Leatherwood.
season went tanked.
They got to play Madison,
They gotta
Lincoln,
play
Saints,
Madison, Lincoln.
Cathedral.
I mean, dude, it's a mollywhopping every week.
Right. They're just getting
They don't
smoked.
even need to be in that league. So
Right.
teams like that, I mean, you call poor Marlon Gardner and he's like, okay, I'm getting thumped this week. Okay, I'm getting thumped this week. I mean, and that's a program destroyer. Who's going to want to go to the school now?
But if you have that many teams in the league, like 8 teams in the league, get 7 non-league games, that means you got 7 league games. That makes it a lot easier for teams like Helix and Cathedral and Lincoln. And it's like, hey, look, I can play 2 teams out of town and maybe one other team will play me in town. Yep. Some team that's like, you know what? I don't really want to be in that league, but I can get a nice boost playing them, see where my team's at. Maybe I play one of the lower level teams in that super league and go with it. I bet you, out of the teams I've listed, I bet you already just off the top of my head, without even consulting any of them, I bet you at least 6 would be like, we're in.
I can only think of 3. Right now, they would sign up, no doubt.
Are you Sam? And I'll tell you if I can add some too.
Cathedral, Helix, Steel Canyon. Those are the only 3 I guarantee would sign up.
I bet you Madison and Lincoln say that.
I don't agree.
Really? You don't think they'd want that?
Nope. And I'll tell you why. And this is going to be controversial. If you look at Lincoln prior to Jason Carter being there, we're D3. If Jason Carter was to leave for any reason at all, that program is not what that program is. They're not going to want to be in that Super League.
How many North County teams sign up for that?
1.
Carlsbad?
No.
El Camino? Mission Hills? I can see. Well,
Hauser's the only one I think that got the stones to do it. That isn't going to do it. That'll stay in the avocado and take the top seat out of the avocado all day. He hates playing Cathedral.
So he would rather play in D1.
I believe so.
Than play in the Open?
I believe so.
Do you think most avocado league coaches would be like that?
Hell yes. They don't want to that. Why do you think a Cathedral?
Why
do you think Cathedral's never been invited to the avocado league?
Why do you think the Open division is only 4 teams?
Because nobody from North County wants to be in there with Cathedral.
Right. Or Helix.
Or Mission Hills. I mean, Madison.
Madison.
Nobody wants to play the Western League.
Right.
They want to pound their chest that they're the greatest league in the county. But what happens? Look at the historical data when they have to play the Western League.
If you go back to the Open Division Championships since they started in 2013, they won the first 2.
And then what happened?
And that was it.
Ghost town. How many championships?
Helix Cathedral, Helix Cathedral, Helix Cathedral, Helix Cathedral.
Goose eggs.
And this year, it's not Cathedral, but it's a Western League team.
It will be a Western League team.
It'll be a Western League team.
It will be a Western League team.
100%.
It's either going to be Lincoln or Madison.
But I think that would be a great idea. I
think
like
it's a great
that
idea too. I like it too.
Because then it's like, all right, here's your schedule, and we move on. We got to get going soon. So let's talk about some of the games. We got the big game, obviously, in Lincoln and Madison. Let's talk on that first. You and I disagree who we think we're going to win, unless you changed your opinion from the time we talked on the phone to right now. I like Lincoln in this game. I like the way Lincoln played. Now, I've only been able to watch both of these teams up close. I ended up seeing back-to-back weeks against one team. So, maybe one of them had a bad week compared to another team. But I thought Lincoln was the more complete team when I saw them in person. I think they could do more damage. I thought they were way more physical, than in comparison to Madison in that particular sense. I think their secondary is good. I think their D-line's pretty solid. Their O-line is good, and they got Roderick Robinson. And at any point in time, if Lincoln runs into trouble, they put him back there and run Wildcat, and they just go, here, stop him. Good luck. I think they're more fundamentally sound in the game that I watched compared to Madison. So I think they'll have the edge over Madison. But I will say this: I told you on the phone, the only team in San Diego I think that has the chance to beat Lincoln, where it wouldn't surprise me if they upset it, was Madison. That's how big of a game this is. That's how evenly matched it is. I like Reggie. What's his name? Reggie Johnson.
Reggie Johnson.
Reggie Johnson at quarterback. I think he does a good job at quarterback. Jackson has the ability to go up and get the ball. I forget who number 21 is on Madison, but he impressed me. Their D line's pretty legit too. I mean, that's their bread and butter. But I just think overall, if you go position by position, I give the edge to Lincoln, and I think Lincoln's the better football team. Now, when these two teams play, throw records out, man, because there's a lot of close times that these two teams battle it out. And Madison upset them, I think, even last year, and they've upset them before in the previous years. And Madison has the ability to upset Lincoln. Give me Lincoln by 7.
There's a whole lot there, buddy.
It's a lot. It's
a
a
lot
big
what
game.
you
You got to
just
break down the big
unpacked, and
game.
I'm going to keep it simple.
You always keep it simple.
Ben Follow has the ability to initiate his defense to play bigger in big games than any other team I've ever seen. Now, I think on paper, Lincoln has better athletes. I think that on paper, it's easy to say Lincoln's going to run up the scoreboard and they're going to win this game. What concerns me is a couple of things. They've got one of the one player this is going to come down to for me is Barrett for Madison. If Barrett can play within his emotions and T-Val can play within his emotions and they can stay disruptive and play hard for 4 quarters, I think they have more tenacity in the trenches and they can outlast Lincoln. If they can not give up the big score, the big plays, Madison wins this game.
I got Lincoln 24-17.
I'm going to take Madison with an upset, 17-14.
calpreps has Lincoln 27-21.
Yeah, I'm going to be the only analyst out there to take Madison with the upset, 17-14 at the Hive. And they're going to win the Western League.
Hang on for a second. There is some significant consequences to the open division if Madison were able to win that game, if I can remember correctly.
I think it knocks Lincoln out of the open and puts them back in D1.
It does not.
It doesn't?
Mission, they're better than Mission Hill. Who did that knock out? It doesn't. Hold on. I gotta.
Do your magic. Do your new.
Let me do this real quick, and then let me do this real quick. All right, hang on. That's what it does. It kind of knocks them out. What it does is if Madison beats Lincoln and Poway wins, which they're expected to do so over Rancho Bernardo, Mission Hills wins, which they're expected to do over San Marcos. So back to chalk. But if Madison wins, they become the 2 seed. They still don't have enough points to pass Carlsbad.
Okay.
Which is whatever.
Okay.
Nuts to me. Carlsbad would get the 1 seed, 46.3 points. Madison, the 2 at 46.2. Mission Hills, the 3 at 45.6. And then Poway and Lincoln tied at 45.4.
What do we do in the tie?
Head to head. Well, they didn't play each other.
So what do we do?
Common opponent. They don't have a common opponent. It wouldn't have mattered because Poway was undefeated anyway, and so was Lincoln inside of San Diego. Their only loss to Alameda, or I guess to Madison, but Poway didn't play Madison.
So what do we do?
What do you do?
Oh, this ought to get interesting.
Oh, let's look up the CIF website. What are you doing on a tiebreaker of 2 teams? Oh, there is none. Who knows? Do you give it to Madison, or did you give it to Poway because they're undefeated? Do you give it to Lincoln because their strength of schedule? Is it strength of schedule? Do you go by calpreps? Do you go by calpreps? And then all of a sudden it's like, why are we even doing the CIF preps ratings anyway? Disaster. That'd be a disaster, wouldn't it not, Chris?
So what you're saying then is CIF and the referees have an interest in
the referees don't care. Don't throw the referees.
I said don't throw the refs under the bus.
No, we're gonna get Miles DMing us doing, Chris, what did I tell you? All this other stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so you're telling me CIF has a vested interest in Lincoln winning that game?
No.
They do.
They don't.
They do.
I don't even think they know that's a possibility. That's why I don't think they care. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know that's a possibility. They don't care.
Okay, let's move on. What next game we got?
There's some Thursday games. We'll go rapid fire with these.
Yeah, let's go.
LCC's playing Torrey tomorrow. LCC's favored by 5.
I'm taking LCC.
I'm taking the Fighting Sovicals as well. Hoover at Kearney. Kearney's favored by a touchdown.
Hoorah!
You have to pick them, don't you?
No, I think it'll be Kearney.
Okay.
You're number 4.
I got Hoover. Calipatria at Holtville. Holtville's favored 44-3. I'm going to go with that. That sounds good.
We'll take that.
Steel Canyon at Grossmont. The 1-8 Steel Canyon Cougars
I'll take the
at
Cougars.
the 0-9 Grossmont
I'll take the
Foothillers.
listen. I don't know if anybody's had a further fall from grace than the Grossmont Foothillers, man.
Cougars are
that
favored
team
by
is bad.
7, 28-21 expected.
That team
final.
is bad.
Poor Grossmont. It's such a down year for Steel, man. Poor Steel.
They're gonna win a game though.
They already won one. They beat Heritage week 1, 1-0. They started the season 1-0. Modern Day at Eastlake. Modern Day is favored by 2 touchdowns.
Modern Day.
I'll take them as well.
You know why? Eastlake couldn't find their shoes.
I'm sorry?
Eastlake's just a disaster right now.
I thought they had like a cleat problem or something. I was like,
they don't even tie their shoes. I watch their football games. It is bad.
It's not good. This at Carlsbad. Guess what the spread is on that game?
77.
62. Close.
It's a blowout, dude.
They cover?
Yeah.
Or we see that on Bad Beats with Scott Van Pelt on Monday.
Hey, we got to do a segment called Bad Beats.
Bad Beats with the spreads. Oh, man, he had it. That's encouraging gambling with the propositions coming up. We can't be doing that.
Oh, geez.
El Camino
Are you voting for Pop One?
The
26 and 27?
There's 2 of them. There's 26 and 27. 27.
No on both.
27 is for gambling where you can do it on your phone. 26 is you have to go to a casino in order to gamble on sports.
No on both.
You can have your opinions either way. I will not be saying my political opinions on the show. El Camino at Oceanside. Oceanside is expected to lose 38-7.
I'll take El Camino.
They go 0-10. Oceanside. Yep. I agree.
Does David Rodriguez finally get fired?
I don't like talking about high school coaches getting fired, but he went 0-10. So that's kind of.
I'm just asking.
That's kind of bad. I don't know. High school's like weird too, especially not in like the state of Texas where it's like the livelihood of everybody. It's, as long as you treat the community well and all that other stuff, a lot of these high school coaches stay.
It's Oceanside though, man. It's Titletown.
They're
John Carroll.
They are a long way from Titletown right now.
John Carroll ran a good program.
Let's say that job opens up. Do you think his son takes it? We talked about that a couple weeks ago with Charles James. San Marcos at Mission Hills. Mission Hills by 2 touchdowns.
I'll take Mission Hills in the Discovery Bowl.
Morse at Mission Bay. Morse is favored by 3.
Morse.
Canyon Hills at Point Loma. Point Loma is favored by a ton, and I agree with you. I agree with you on all those picks, by the way. Bishops at Santa Fe Christian. Bishops is favored by 10. It's at La Jolla High.
Santa Fe Christian.
I'm going to take Bishops. Christian at San Diego. 35-13 expected score for Christian.
I'll take Christian.
La Jolla at Mira Mesa. Mira Mesa is favored by 2 touchdowns.
I'll take Mira Mesa.
Granite Hills at Helix. Granite Hills is favored 34-28.
Helix is Helix, but I'm taking Granite Hills.
Until somebody in that league beats them, I'm going with Helix.
Granite
I do
Hills.
think Granite Hills, this is the best shot somebody's got. This Granite Hills team's pretty good.
You miss 100% of the shots you never take.
West Hills at El Cap. That's actually a pretty good game. El Cap's favored by 6.
I'll take El Cap.
That's the Burner Bowl, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
For his son?
Yep, for Tony.
Who won it last year? West Hills?
No.
I think they split the last 2 years.
Burner's never lost to the Burner.
I thought West Hills won last year. You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I want to check that. El Cajon Valley at Santana. Santana's favored 28-17.
I'm taking El Cajon Valley.
Monte Vista at Valhalla. Oh, my God.
What?
Monte Vista at Valhalla. Valhalla's favored 28-26.
How are you favored at Valhalla? Is
Valhalla is favored against Monte Vista.
Is Monte Vista that bad?
Yes. That's a hell of a game.
I guess I'll take Valhalla.
Central at Brawley.
I'll take Brawley.
Otay Ranch at Bonita. Versus Bonita. It's at Southwestern. Otay is favored by a couple touchdowns.
I'll take Otay. I like their quarterback.
Montgomery at Hilltop.
Montgomery.
Westview at Mount Carmel. Battle of PQ.
Mount Carmel.
I agree. Poway at RB. Poway is expected to win 42-7. They cover the 35-point spread.
Yes.
Army Navy at Tri-City. Oh, that's not even a game. Army Navy is going to destroy them. RBV at Fallbrook. That's a pretty intriguing game.
Take Fallbrook.
Valley Center at Ramona.
Ramona.
How about Rancho Buena Vista, by the way? Starting the season 5-0. Are going to finish the season 0-5.
That's bad.
Tough. Exact opposite Chula Vista, who started 0-5.
He's about to win a league title.
They are.
Metro League.
They're going to win.
Yeah.
Absolutely going to win.
Congratulations to Howard Bannister.
That's right. Coach Bannister.
Attaboy, Coach Ban.
We did the Madison Lincoln game. Do you want to pick the Scripps Cathedral game?
Cathedral?
Del Norte is playing at Thousand Oaks.
Hey, Del Norte is a lot better than.
Not better than Thousand Oaks, but
I'm just saying a lot better than I thought they were. They beat Mount Carmel. We didn't talk about that, by the way.
They did. Oh, we were off.
Yeah.
I was in Dodger Stadium.
I called the head coach, the OC, the DC. I called everybody.
I cursed Del Norte this year.
You did what?
I cursed them.
What?
Because I thought that, remember a couple of weeks ago? Like they're undefeated. They got a chance to go like 9-1, 10-0. Loss. Very next week. Loss. Week after that.
Well, I picked them. I'm the only guy who picked them against Mount Carmel.
I said it. Well, they started off 3-0, and then they lost to La Jolla, and they lost to RB, and then they lost to Ballet. They had a chance. I mean, they were off to a good start. I think that is it. Is there any other game that I missed?
No, but I am going to make an attempt.
Crawford's at Claremont on Saturday.
Crawford.
Claremont, man.
Fighting Marquez's. You know what we call that? The International Brotherhood of Football. That team has. I was
Crawford?
looking at a post.
Oh, by the way,
hold on.
Were you excited about the new jerseys?
Let me finish my jersey.
I like that.
He had a post out where he had like 7 different players with 7 different flags of countries from around the world that play on his team.
Oh, that's sweet.
That was pretty awesome. So I give a lot of respect to Matt Marquez. I don't know if there's one coach in San Diego loves his kids and his team more than Matt.
Well, yeah, he coaches a lot of sports over there.
Coaches 2 sports or 3 sports, yeah.
Yeah, he's got 3 sports over there, man. I mean, he's there all the time, right?
Coach loves his kids.
Does a good job. I love the kids reacting to the red jerseys. They're going in the locker room last week. They're so fired up. That stuff fires me up. High school football stories like that. I mean, think about like for you and me. I mean, you like your jerseys. I like my jerseys. You're repping your Falcons one today, but I mean, the excitement on the kid's face special for the red jerseys was like a little kid on Christmas. So excited. I mean, that's the beauty of high school football, man. It's the Americana right there of giving back to the team. And, it's just as simple as, a jersey for those kids. Just
next year, what I would like to see, I'm throwing this out here early. Every school needs to pick captains like they do in the NFL.
Have the C on their chest.
And I think that CIF should implement the C on the chest.
I like that. I think we should end with that. Good. We had a lot of good discussion topics today.
Let's see how many text messages and phone calls we get.
Padres baseball, college football, best environments, not good environments. We talked about my great ingenious idea that's going to be amazing. Everybody wants to incorporate it. You liked it?
I did.
You didn't think I was going to go with that.
Little self promotion there, but it's okay. I don't mind.
You
don't really need it. I mean, you're so good at baseball, dude. You really don't need it.
Come up with the ideas of leagues.
Just saying, say how great your ideas are.
If it comes to making brackets and leagues and tournament, I want to run a 7-on-7 tournament just so I can make the brackets because I'd make it badass.
Are we gonna have a 97.3 7-on-7 tournament?
We almost had one.
What are we
doing?
We
were planning one.
And by the way, guess who called me?
Oh,
an old friend, an old Cathedral alumni who's a friend of yours.
Herrera?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Rich called me.
I like that.
I don't know. I love Rich, but he's always like, "Hey, I need you to talk to this guy over here in Arizona." I'm just like, dude,
trying to pump the recruits.
He's always trying to help them out.
We were close. We were planning.
Let's do it.
We were planning.
There's no COVID now.
Well, that COVID shut it down. But we were going to planning 97.3 The Fan.
That was when Rich was there, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were going to have it at Cathedral. It's going to be 97.3 The Fan passing league tournament. Westling already said he was in. Mount Carmel was like, "We're in. We're already ready to go." We were going to invite some of the best teams from Orange County and some of the best teams in San Diego.
So what are the chances you can convince the who's who
the brass over there now to do it? We had the insurance policy in place. We were partnered with the Holiday Bowl. The Holiday Bowl is going to give away, I think, either tickets or something to the winning team.
So you guys hear
we had SeaWorld tickets for the winner.
In the offseason, Braden said he's going to try to bring a 7-on-7 tournament to San Diego. You heard it right here, this podcast. He said it right there.
We were thinking about doing a joint thing, like
don't forget.
It's gonna be great.
We talked about the Neon Dion story. Braden's gonna put the link right down here.
Giving me more tasks to do on
right down there. Check out the story on Neon Dion Prime Time, Coach Prime on 60 Minutes. Great story. You'll love it.
Top Dog. I'm Braden Surprenant. We've been at it for an hour, and we had to give you a little bit more love this week since we missed out the last 2 weeks.
Content, baby.
We got some great high school games this weekend. Go out and check them out. We also got postseason football coming up. Got to get that podcast in early next week because I'll be in Georgia for Tennessee, Georgia. Great. More college football. We'll have more talk on that as it gets ready for playoffs. We're in playoff mode now, Chris. I'm excited for it. He's Top Dog. I'm Braden Sprint. Thanks again for tuning in. High School Football Podcast.